Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Moin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Jerry. Also, notice the tiny fist he has.
Superhero pose, one hand down.
Farcrum, he's constipated because his food went down too fast.
He's already been showed off in House of Water, hashtag Best House, several months ago.
He has made his rounds. Welcome everybody in chat.
Who are these people? There's Paul. Boo!
Paul?
Boo! There's no Age of Magic. Boo! We're probably going to be playing the Crusades. Assuming we're playing Saga. I can't remember. I know you want to play Judge Dredd / Rogue Trooper, so we'll see.
Have you found your what's face book on Age of Magic Saga? Oh,
it could be anywhere, which means, you know.
I guess the most likely part is actually that it's with Lloyd. That's why you can't find it.
It's a distinct possibility. I may have said something like, "Sure, I'm not going to play it until I'm playing it with you again. If you want to borrow it, and then have a look at the various armies you can put together." That sounds like something I would say. Oh, boo! Got a message from Mantic today. The Big Red Book is being shipped. It should be with me in the next day or so, which means I'll have it for the weekend.
Oh, great.
So that'll be awesome. Boo! Also, apparently I ordered Halfling on Winged War Dog. So, well done me. Well done past me for knowing that future me would require cheering up when he pre-ordered all that shit months ago.
I'm not even going to answer that question, Fulcrum. I'm not going to even acknowledge the existence of that question. God, what's wrong with people?
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with them. They just like to watch you squirm. Remember that time when they released a downed X-Wing and it was only €90?
I can't. I don't get it.
No.
That's beyond silly. No expansion should be on the same price level as the core game. But that's just my opinion.
But look, there's so much room for activities. there's like a fuselage and like an ass end and like a bit of a wing. I watched yesterday that was great.
It's not even the original X-Wing, it's the one from the sequels.
With the half-moon engine? Oh.
Yeah, and Revell has the 1:57 scale, which almost matches for €23 directly from Revell, so they're highly likely to get them cheaper somewhere else. So I could get myself 3 of those and make terrain.
Oh yeah, just 3D print the traveler ship, just 3D print the Beowulf.
This ship actually looks nice, but no.
No?
No.
But you've got like a hot wire cutter. That's practically a 3D printer.
A reverse printer. In I only need to make use of the negative space.
Nice.
Yeah. Today is coffee time because my brain's all mangled. And that's why we keep with a simple theme for the beginning of the show.
It's relatively simple at the end as well.
Yeah, Jerry, might you do the honors and give the poor folk at home the link to the first project, please?
Fucks. Give the fucks at home a link. Is that the link?
That's the one. Volkswagen. I already love the wordplay on this. So, Amachan has done a conversion.
Step 1. Join
Buy-
the Manson family.
Buy a
Step
hippie
2.
hippie toy and convert it.
Oh, good use of pens. You know what they say, pens are like friends. If they don't work, give them a shake. If they still don't work, chuck them away. Or turn them into the cells on your Manson murder bus.
Every time I try to shake my friends, they just scream at me, go, "Ah, stop it!" Don't know why. So she's using variable bits. A toy truck, I always said. Some pen pieces, and there you go. Slap an orc onto it. You've got yourself an orc cannon.
That's the way to do it. Very much so. Apart from something, a bit from one of the pens, some great stuff. Stick an orc in. Bish bash bosh. Ole ole. Biscuit barrel. Chipping medium applied to the rusty wheels. Oh my god.
Yeah, really went above and beyond. And notice this is an ancient project. So this is 4.5 years old by now.
Yeah, but you know.
So in case
It's
you haven't
completed.
seen it, go watch it.
It
I
means
love
as
this
you get
kind
to the
of stuff.
bottom, it'll become more painted and finished.
Actually, when I first got hold of the idea of Gorka Morka, I was playing with the idea of taking a model beetle and make that into a buggy for Gorka Morka, but I couldn't find anything that was fitting from size-wise. They were either way too big or way too small.
It's a sign of the times, I'm afraid. I like the, I'm not sure what you would call it.
The aluminum flats.
Yeah, but on the side, because that little sort of curve out just lets me think of what was Lone Star's Winnebago called?
Eagle.
Eagle. Lets me think of that.
That's
One step away from giving somebody the raspberry.
somebody jammed our radar.
It might just be too far down the barrel and you can't see him, Fulcrum.
Oh, look, it's an animated 3D picture.
Ah, it's moving.
I remember her talking about how she did those.
Yeah, it was very complicated. I just went to a website called Make a GIF where you just upload pictures and it makes a GIF, gives you a link. It was much easier. I mean, mine was very stress-free in comparison.
Yeah, but it really pays off having a 360.
Well, it does if you've painted the back. If you've only painted the front, then you're just, you're leaving yourself open to abuse, really.
I think that should be a category in the model competition going, and only entries allowed with one perspective painted. The rest must be left blank.
Call it the Heavy Metal Award for all the old heavy metal.
Not the not so heavy award.
No, that's how heavy metal used to, because they had so much to paint. So you would only paint the front for the pictures of White Dwarf. So like Terry and Teclis and all the rest weren't painted at the back. Fuck that. No, don't have the time for that. Paint the front, move on to the next one. Speed up, speed up, speed up.
Hard to believe. Ralph, welcome to the show.
It's a magical time. Fucking magical.
Speaking of Games Workshop, you remember when we last talked about that our local store is looking for a new manager?
Yes.
They're
They
looking
just closed down instead.
again.
Wow. Are they in competition with the UK for prime ministers? Is that it? Can they try and churn through as many managers as the UK can do prime ministers? Because currently it's 3 within 7 weeks. No, 3 within 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's utterly nonsense. But I, to be fair, I can't really tell if they are still looking or looking again, because the last time they officially looked isn't that far in the past. So it could well be that they are just looking still, which doesn't make it any better, does it?
I already said this, Fulcrum, that what we should do is
take turns as prime minister.
Just pull out people's national insurance number and then you are Prime Minister for a week. And I was talking about this in the bar, and somebody said he read a book when he was a kid, which was more or less exactly that. And it started off where people were obviously trying to get as much cash from themselves, but then as time progressed, it turned into a functioning government because people were then marrying up their plans to the previous incumbent, and things was actually started to get done.
Scary tactic.
Oh, I must. He told me the name, but to be fair, I had been drinking because I was in a bar, so I must find out what the fuck it was called.
Yeah, Manda Amateur, nicely done. What's next? I guess it's Gree.
Well, you should know. You put this together. What's that?
Don't tell
Hey,
people.
What's going on? I've no idea. I think I pressed the right one. I put my glasses on. I can't fucking see.
Oh, no, it's the right one.
Yay!
50T challenge, whatever the T meant. I got Gorkomorka Wild Orcs with Contrast and Paints by Bothy. Or Boti. So these are just...
Well, he's German, so how would you pronounce it?
Bow tie.
In that case, let's go with that then.
Yeah, so nicely painted orcs. Simple as that. Nothing too fancy, but a very consistent and lovely color scheme.
Orcs on square base is like nature intended. You're right. So, what's this? It's 500 points challenge. Painting 500 points of an army every 2 months. So you get an entire 2,000 point army after 8 months. This year for the anniversary, we decided to go for Gorkomorka. I seen somebody, I can't remember what it was. It may have been like a Facebook post where they're going, blah, 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 blah. New skirmish game written by Necromunda writer. And I immediately thought of Jervis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, oh, hang on a minute. No, this is modern kids. This is probably that new shit, or Necromunda. So it'll be some cunt I've never heard of who made a game that was piss poor and required me to fucking buy a supplement to climb the stairs. I'm not even going to look any further. Anyway, I digress.
Is there any name known
to
to that new thing? I thought Games Workshop kept that under wraps.
Yeah, but I imagine whenever you leave, you'll tell people what you did.
Well, but basically you have no proof of that. You could
Hey,
just...
we don't need proof. Everybody in Nottingham knows everybody else. That's why you don't have to worry about Golden Demon winners being somebody good. It'll always be somebody that's known to the people picking it. So it's handy in that respect. Look at them all. They're delightful 25mm squares. They're sweet, sweet like candy. I particularly like the Mad Boy. Come along, son. Got a nice copper staff for you.
Yeah, you need to stay grounded these days.
Yes,
look at him.
Very much so. Very much so.
And he also got his own little trailer. See?
He gets towed at the back. That's because nobody wants him up front in case he explodes.
Well, wouldn't it be more good in front to wipe out some enemies?
Yeah, but it's all about angular momentum. If you're going forward and something explodes behind you, that's fine.
Oh,
if you're going forward and you explode in front of them, then you go into the explosion. That's worse.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
See,
yeah, so...
orcs are all about the detailed mathematics and physics. About that.
Simple math, but it works.
I love the track. I love the fact that you could also play fantasy with this.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, I'm not sure what you would use it for. You'd use it as a fight wagon in Kings of War, but it's probably about 50mm wide, 100mm deep. It's probably about 50mm too long. But
I'd say that even more than 100.
I could live that. Think so?
Yeah, it looks very long.
Yeah, that's why I said it's probably about 50mm too long.
Extra long.
Because the boar boy would be on a 25x50, and then 50 for the two wheels. Yeah, so I reckon it's 150 by 100 wide. Yeah, well, you could call it a chariot if you were going to play fantasy.
Yeah, sadly, this is
I'd
not
rather run
finished.
it as a fight wagon.
I don't know why.
probably because you touch yourself at night.
Who told you?
You know.
Okay.
I imagine they started doing this in 2020 and then everything got locked down. And I imagine at that point, the idea of getting shit finished to be shown off in a month's time or 2 weeks' time or whatever it happened to be, you're just going, what's the point?
Probably.
I
not
won't be
wrong
out of the
there.
house. You can send him a little message. Tell him we know what he looks like and what he smells like when he sleeps.
We know where our house lives. Yeah, that's
You've been
I
visited
hope
by the unofficial Hobby Hangout. You smell different when you're awake.
I hope that the poking gives him another nudge to continue work on this, because I like to see this weird crossover of fantasy and Gorka Morka.
It's all good in the hood. Also, you know, it just proves what I always say, that you've got more options with square bases than with round.
So next is a flying piece of thingamajig by Tathirak.
Sure. Why not? Why not be
Tathirak.
a thingy thing?
We're getting back into territory of weird people's names.
So a whole host of Imperialis Aeronauticus bombers over the Sulphuriferous. Interesting little sort of combos in here, because a lot of it is based on actual real world aircraft. So it's not just let's paint it red and put checks on everything. There's a lot of how can I make this look like a member of the US Navy? You know, it would look really good if I did them up as some F-14s. Shit like that. Which gives, it's still a very striking color scheme.
Yeah.
But it's not the norm that you would see with orcs. But at the
I
same
think-
time, it looks very orky.
I think this is what the inspiration was.
It was for the bomber, certainly. For some of the other pieces later on, you can see other fighters and stuff, where it was like, well, you know, I could do this sort of stuff on the wingtips and tail guns and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and we had been here ages ago.
Long fucking time ago.
And I love just the detailing on these very tiny models.
That's the base that Warren hates, isn't it?
I guess. I think I seem to remember him being very upset about them for whatever reason.
I don't know. Considering he doesn't actually like games, I would think the base is the least of the issues.
He invents a lot of games.
He invents a lot of games, but you know,
that he doesn't like them.
well, he invents a lot of games and then goes, "Here's a game. Now let's make it unplayable." I want magic that will flip the table over. Are you sure? But I don't want any randomness. Are you definitely sure then? You want your magic to be so overpowering that nobody can do anything against it? Because that sounds like a shit game.
Also, having a huge chart to look up anything that happens is a bit odd.
I don't mind that. If you think about Warhammer 40,000, Necromunda, Gorka Morka, your favourite game, what you just talked about, they all had not just one but two charts where you had to look them up to see what was happening. Not only did you have to look them up, you had to look them up, then roll a dice, then look up another chart, then roll a different dice, and then your opponent would roll a third dice based on a different value on another chart. That was 3 chart looking ups and 3 dice rolls, whereas his is only 1 chart. So I don't mind the chart. The chart's not a problem. It's whenever you go, I want to be able to explode half the world with my magic in this game with no randomness. That's where I draw the line. It's a very specific place to draw a line.
Yeah.
California.
Did he tell what kind of bases he wants to use with the game?
Oh, any bases, any at all. Doesn't matter. I imagine because there were flanks, sides, and rears and stuff that you would probably want to go for square on the grounds. Then you have sides and flanks, but I think he wants to stick with his round bases and then do that horrible thing where you put angles on a round base, which is just retarded. If you're sitting at home putting angles on a round base, people, you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and think, what am I doing with my life? Put it on a fucking square base and bang, you're done.
It's at some point in the future there might be we might need to do a brainstorming on what the ideal game system actually would be, and then come to the conclusion everything's fucked.
Square bases. That's the ideal base sizing right there.
Yeah, so
Anywho,
Tathirak makes some nice little flying things. Give the project a follow if you want, and shall we venture on?
yeah, why not? Just for novelty value. Oosh. Kabam. I've seen a very distinct theme from your picks, by the way.
Yeah,
Did you just type orc?
Yes. That's literally what I did.
Orc.
And then I picked randomly old projects I hadn't looked at recently.
Oh, well, fair enough. It's good to have a hobby. 30 boys in 3 hours. Get tabletop results. That is a comprehensive tutorial there.
Yeah, he has a big list. Very little pictures so far, but...
Hey, you know, he's explaining the principle, and then you get the pictures afterwards showing how that shit goes, which is fascinating.
Remove everything from sprues. That's generally a good idea.
Hey, you know, I see people doing it the other way for speed painting mass units. Paint it all on the sprue and then assemble it afterwards.
I can get the idea when you have large pieces from a model kit, so you don't want to touch anything to hold it, because you can touch up the little connecting points, but on miniatures, not so much.
It's the way of the future, Dan. Everybody will be dipping into contrast soon. I did a unit of... Actually, I did a army.
Dip. Oh,
it was this Everland army for Empire, for fantasy, on square bases like nature intended. And the bases were all sprayed goblin green. GW had just released spray paints for the first time in colours, and they were like that big. You know,
the small bottles, I remember.
Yeah, the little teeny tiny thin tins. And so I sprayed all the bases goblin green. I took all the crossbows and spears and stuck them into a polystyrene tray, spear tip down, and sprayed them all brown. And then sprayed all the bodies. I want to say it was bubonic brown, so it was like a sandy yellow. And then fucked an orange wash over them that I made myself out of floor polish. And sprayed all the heads, skin. There was like a skin tony color. And then I just glued everything together afterwards. And it was like weapons are brown, bases are green, uniforms are orange, orangey yellow, and faces are skin color. At some point I'll go back and I'll paint the rest of the details in. I didn't. I swapped that Empire army for like 200 old videotapes off a book. Include some amazing videotapes like Angel's Dance with Cheryl Lee. That's an amazing film. It's great. Can't fucking get it anywhere now. And the Eliminators. Oh, the Eliminators with Mandroid and his tracked unit. Fucking amazing. All the budget went on Mandroid.
Demon Sub just said he wants to do a YouTube video calling it slap dip, dipping paint stuff in contrast paints.
Oh yeah, a hook will bit your tongue off. Demon Dip might be more catchy. Yeah, oh yeah, you've got a brand for yourself.
Demon Dip.
I think good.
If Dave from Goblin, what's it called? Yellow. Oh god.
I don't even know what sentence you're trying to string together there. If Dave from Goblin, David Yellow.
David from the Thursday show from from Paul and...
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Warboss.
Was it Yellow Belly?
Yellow Belly Gaming. Or, yeah, Yellow Belly Tabletop.
Yeah, he was a bit upset when I said dip all. He
dip
threw
everything.
Up in his mouth a bit.
Hey, you know.
Speaking of those lovely lads, I'll be guest next Thursday.
Wow. As in this Thursday?
As in the day after tomorrow, yes. I'm not sure what we're going to do. Potentially, I'll be just sitting there staring at the camera.
It's good. It's a good way to go.
Yeah.
To flash your baps in your hot tub.
I don't know if his YouTube channel can handle that much hotness.
You're probably fine.
You think so?
I'm to go for Sunburnt Irish next.
Oh, you're drinking lovely beer again, and I'm
Caramel
here,
malt and bitter orange. Food
I'm
pairing,
sitting here with
cheese
coffee.
and ham, apparently.
Oh.
There you go. Anywho.
And a partially assembled and partially painted Glasgow.
Glasgow. It's much bigger than mine. Mine's still in his box, and he's metal, so I win, I think.
And also, yours probably has a Macari.
He does, because I made one out of a Rebel Grot banner waver, because I don't think that any of the new ones came with them. Not the metal one or that one. You have to go right back to first edition to get a decent one.
Oh, emergency.
Somebody
shook the can.
Well, possibly.
I think it's easy to say that this fellow has a bit of a thing for 40k.
Yes.
A wee bit.
Is it because he's got like an Ollie Reed tattoo of an Imperial Eagle on his cock?
I couldn't tell. If you know things we don't know.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh. Look, he's got a Macari. He's got a classic Macari. But where is it?
No,
Where'd
it's
you get
not
that
the
from?
classic. That's the one that came with the second edition.
Oh, did they make one?
I think
that's not the one that came with second edition.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Because
his standard was vertical, wasn't off at an angle, didn't have all that shit going on.
The original Macari, which I have, is a wee bit smaller.
Yeah. Interesting. Presumably he made it somewhere. Can't see. Doesn't say.
He's keeping his secrets.
Yeah. Is it secret? Is it safe? Pardon me.
Second edition Gascoigne Thatcher? What are you talking about, Rumbly? Are you having a stroke? That Rumbly ain't Dick. So, next is a very interesting project.
Yeah.
From our very lovely own Toffee Ears.
Toffee Ears or Tough Years? I could never find out. Oh, it could be either. Who knows?
And it's the bestest painted purple orc I've never seen. It's just brilliant.
This is a joke.
So purple.
This is something they added that I was unaware of. Apparently, they can't see purple.
For whatever reason, that Games Workshop thought that must be a thing that purples.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
so like an Eversor assassin coming at you like Cleopatra.
Have you seen
or like one of those
date?
Halfwits with their magical ring?
Have you seen the date on that project?
I haven't. I'll look at that now. But here's a question for you: if Frodo sticks the ring up his arse, does he turn invisible, or will it merely turn his shits invisible as they pass through his ring piece?
The turds, because if the ring would turn anything invisible outside of him, he would be invisible all the time.
True, but it does say about wearing. It's like, if it's inserted, is that not wearing? No.
Well, he's wearing it on a chain around his neck.
Oh, yeah. It's true. But it doesn't turn the chain invisible.
No, it doesn't.
So it wouldn't turn his turds invisible either. It's a very nebulous ring.
Maybe it's just biomatter that gets turned invisible and not cloth or anything.
If only there was some way to find out. If I wrote to the Tolkien estate.
If I use the One Ring as a cock ring, will it turn me invisible or just the cock?
See, these are the questions that Tolkien should have been answering. Instead of inventing fucking elven languages that nobody's ever going to fucking bother with. One step away from Esperanto there, mate.
Maybe if he has worms. Yeah.
Oh,
Now we're getting into very delicious territory.
one worm to rule them all.
Can you imagine a worm ruling over Middle Earth?
Can't be any worse than the other fella.
Potentially not. So, next one, please.
Worms was an amazing game.
Yeah.
My Worms team was called the Boys from the Dwarf. Lester, Rimmer, Crichton, and the Cat.
Oh, and I had a... Oh, wait. Here.
Oi, nutter!
Oi,
Oh.
nutter!
There you go.
So, Chaos Gorka also did some orc stuff more recently.
Hobgoblins.
Well, he
From
calls it Orc Army.
Yeah, you call it what you want. Were they not that Swamp Hobgoblin force that they
Yeah.
released for the Swamp Hobgoblins?
I think that's what Gvolu calls them. And again, just shows how horrible he is at painting.
Oh, yeah, he sucks balls.
Terrible painter.
Oh, he's the dick licker. It's the same France. So bad. Why even bother? Just send it to me. I'll dispose of it. Don't worry.
It'll go into a safe place in the attic. And for some reason, I always imagine that there's a dwarf living in your attic, running around shoving crates on little carts.
Sorry, multitasking. I like the terrain piece there as well.
The very statuesque statue.
Yeah. It's like Games Workshop went, you know what would look good? Those Aragonath, but what if we made one into Sigmarine? And then somebody went, fucking amazing. You should definitely do that.
Yeah. Inspiration can be found in the weirdest of places. Oh god, his smoke effect is just...
Smoking, as Jim Carrey would say.
Smoking!
Smoking. That's what he said in the film. Smoking.
But was it him or was it the mask?
Oh, no, it was definitely him. Didn't they find a jade mask at the bottom of one of the pyramids in the temple complex in Teotihuacan? No, Mesoamerica.
I seem to remember something, and somebody else told them, please do not put your face into it.
No, yeah. I know they found a giant priestess with a golden eye somewhere in ancient Egypt recently. I was like, don't dig her up and don't take the eye out either. Thank you very much.
Wasn't there also a few years ago somebody dug up in Egypt a coffin and people started drinking the muddy water that was in there?
Yeah, that's Egyptians for you. They're a bit,
what makes
they're
people
a little
do
bit wee,
such
they're
things?
geezers. I mean, you see delicious soup. You want to drink delicious soup.
After 5,000 years, that's cold. Even in the desert.
Maybe it's a gazpacho. You don't know. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the cacti?
Yes. Mummy gazpacho and cacti.
Yep.
Look. Welcome.
Zorg. Booty, big man. Fucking booty. But yeah, the smoking from his head is particularly nice. But it's interesting because you've got that pinky look, but then you've also got it repeated in the cactus plant flowers on the base. It's the old rule of threes. You should always like triangulate your shit.
And while we're at this subject of cacti, there was a question today on the Terrain Tutors Facebook page about asking someone going, how can I improve my desert base? I don't want just to have sand and stuff. And I just said cacti. And then somebody felt the need to tell me that cacti actually just only grow in the American desert, etc., etc. And I said, that's your point being? He asked about what can I put on a desert. I said cacti. End of story.
Yep.
Why bother?
Have you been button counted, but for plants?
Something.
Have you been fauna counted? That's fucking amazing.
It's especially weird since the OP didn't give any context. He just said desert base, so it could be real life, it could be fantasy, it could be sci-fi, it could be fucking anything.
That's people on the internet for you. That's why I mostly ignore them.
Replying with a paragraph to a one-word answer. It's
tell him to fuck himself.
Since it's Mel's group, and I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But at the same time, tell him to fuck himself. Have you considered, you could say, going outside and playing in traffic? You can't.
I think I could have said that in the long run. Did I mention that Chaos Gawker does an incredible paint job on his shrooms?
Shroomage? Yes. I was looking at the same one, actually. Is that the actual model, or has he just put that on there? Because that looks really weird. It looks like a biped that's been made to walk around on all fours. I can't imagine that that is a particularly elegant gait. People on top are going to be slung around like nobody's business.
Well, I guess they get used to it in the long run.
Oh, just imagine the seasick. Oh,
that's why they're
just
so green.
All down the side. I might take some points off his painting there for not adding the chunks and the drippings down the loins of the whatever the fuck it is.
A bit of extra corrosion along the sides.
Yeah, there's no way they're up there without hoofing one over the side of the the bowl every couple of minutes. Anyway.
Maybe that's something still to be added in the long run. Marsh crawler.
What's wrong with just sand? Oh, dancing. My poor sweet summer child.
Brain Matter Beige is coming to you in an airbrush. Aerosol can.
Yeah. Still can't dry brush it on. Suppose you give it a light dusting like a zenith once you finish painting everything. Zenith it with brain matter and then just throw the washes on the top. Have to see whether or not Hazy Boy goes that way.
Maybe he just uses
sticks with it.
the can as a bigger base of paint, bigger source of paint.
Need 3 Sloggoths for a set. Oh, Sloggoth centipede. That would be amazing. A hell of a base. Just go, whenever anybody looks at it, just go, I use it as a, what do they call those ridiculous giants in their game? Do they call them Gargants?
I think.
Even though it's fantasy.
Toros, welcome. Crispin, hello.
In for tight 30. Nice. Wow. Yeah, just run a human centipede of Sloggoths. And if anybody asks what's going on, you just go, I just use the Gargant stats for them. Here it is.
They're just not vertically, they're horizontally.
Are they called behemoths? Is that it? Honestly, I can't remember. I blank their retardedness from my mind. Who gets the middle? The unlucky one. That's who gets the middle.
Yeah. So, that's Chaos Gawker for you. What's next?
Actually, are they the unluckiest to be in the middle? Because, I mean, if you're the bottom rung on Jacob's ladder, that's never good. But at least if you're in the middle in a human centipede, at least you get to defecate in somebody's mouth, like somebody has shat into yours. But if you're the end, then you're getting shat into, but you're not getting any revenge. No revenge for you.
Welcome to the Unofficial Hobby Hangout.
If you can't be at the front, the middle will have to do, I suppose, because otherwise there's no payback, unless they did like a loop. I can't imagine you could do that with 3 people.
Let's hop on to the next interesting project, please.
Well, answer below, people.
Answers on a postcard.
Where in a human centipede would you like to be, and why? Front, middle, or back? and if you can't be the front, which is the better position to be in? 2 units of dogs or a troop of rangers?
So Great
I've already
Primer
got 2 units of dogs.
has done a
frisky.
service station with a lot of parts in it.
I would honestly go for the unit of rangers. What the unit strength's like on them comparatively? Because I want to say a troop isn't worth much, but then the dogs probably aren't worth much either. But then you've got a bigger threat range with the rangers.
How's that for a view when doing hobby?
That's very distracting. It's like Bob Ross has been graffitiing on my wall.
Then we slap the demon out of the brush.
Sometimes people ask you what you talk about in these sessions. Hey, Nick, you can tell them.
Or you can just bring along for the ride.
No one cleans the third. Yeah, exactly. Being at the end is just the worst. I mean, yeah. It's just the worst, really.
This is a nice gubbins station.
Rangers are 10 attacks, 4+ to hit. And then they've got Crush as well. And Scout. Yeah, I think it's got to be the Rangers. What are we doing? What's going on here? Grey Primer? Who's this cat? Why have we picked this? I've already clicked everything. They're all coloured. What's going on? Why have you brought me here?
Because of reasons unknown
I seem to remember
myself.
I demanded a golden button for this a long time ago.
And you didn't get it?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to what Ben does.
Oh, nice. Greg. Nick has recognized his project.
I want to say I think you possibly did get a golden button for this. And it was the weirdest thing. It was things like the Grub Hut, where it had all the listing of various menus. So today's specials: squig on a stick, squig pie, squig and spam, squig sushi, spam,
Squig on a stick, squig pie, squig and spam, squig sushi. Yes, you remember.
It was shit like
correctly.
that. And I'm going, that's fucking amazing. I love that. Yeah. It has got a button. Apparently, we have to go in whenever we select you, bitches, for golden buttons and actually mark it that's called a golden button, which may come as a shock to the people who I awarded golden buttons to when Ben's off, because I didn't know you had to do that. So, oops.
Yeah, the sorting doesn't really work. Bolt Thrower playing on Orcfest, and Acid Rain, Death Clock, Arcane Tyrant, and Lawnmower Death.
I mean, they're all good. I would say you're missing D-Rock, who were also on the Warhammer record label there, Nick. Just throwing it out there, in case you ever want to update October 2022, Orcfest, just saying. No need to mark
Special
people know you have a
Jaws.
yeah. But yeah, it was just the it's very old school as far as the graffiti and the signs and the bits and bobs stuck around there, the various Blood Bowl teams and all that. It feels like old 40k orcs. It's not everybody's a Cockney wide boy going,
welcome.
A diamond geezer in it.
Well, look, he even got a video.
Videos. Oh my god.
What are these weird animated pictures things?
It's like a GIF, but it keeps going.
And it has sound.
The misguile comes from a G.I. Joe. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. He could answer you because he's in the chat, Crispin. But I don't think he answers people who are below his station, so you may never find out.
Oh, TT Combat even did a feature on this. Oh. Are we fancy now, yes? TT Combat doing features. Talking about TT Combat, they now indulge themselves in making paints.
Yes. I've seen that. They've got, what was the one I spotted the other day, Tauros? I can't remember. It was something blue. Oh, that was it. EA Blue.
Oh, yeah. EEA Blue. It's in the game.
EA.
Well, let's. Honestly, do we need more paints?
No, we don't.
It's always nice to have more choice, but I don't think there's.
I mean, it's an already saturated market.
Yeah.
At some point, you've just got to look at it and go, why?
And if I think of any game store I've ever been to, they usually have Games Workshop paints plus one additional taste. So either Army Painter, Vallejo, or whatever is locally favorited.
TT wanted to
Seldomly
get the
there's
secret
three
weapon
different
right.
manufacturers in store.
Well, Rumbly, aren't they still? Isn't there still ongoing litigation between them and Secret Weapon after TT Combat tried to rip off their IP rights and steal their stock? That's a shit show. That's a fucking hilarious shit show. And apparently they've got form for it. You know the way TT Combat, like Wayland, have gone around hoovering up dying IPs? Apparently they've done it before with one of the other ones. You know, they said, oh, we'll give you a bailout or we'll do this or blah, blah, blah. And then they waited and then just hoovered up the stock and the IP whenever they went to administration. And it's the same thing with the paints, at least as far as Secret Weapon are concerned, which is why they've launched a legal case against them. They said they were going to give us this money to keep us ticking over. We were going to sell them everything. And then they kept all the stock and went, nah. And then we'll send it back, but you've got to pay for us to send it back to you. So, it's fucking hilarious.
Why would we give you a brown star?
Brown star, they're like golden buttons, but different, deeper, more pungent.
What's next, please?
We had Bobcat. Bobcat was the pinnacle. I had a friend, and he got into 40k because I used to do it. And he came home one day and I was going to say Bob. Oh my God. I forgot the dungeon's owner's name. Have I done that? Barlow, Joe. Joe had sold him a load of random stuff and then sold him a load of Bobcat paint to go with. And it was just like, oh my God, everything. You could just set the model down and hit it with a chisel and the enamely-like shell would fall away, leaving a perfectly protected miniature inside it. Fucking Bobcat. What were we doing? Was it the Just for Sundancer?
Yes.
Norks. I say no Norks.
Somebody actually listened to me complaining BM Other that I wanted to see all of the orcs in one place. And I just found out today, which is a shame.
Well, in many respects, you are responsible. I hope you're very contrite when you type in that you've come to visit and apologize profusely for demanding it and then ignoring him for 6 months.
I'm just going to pretend that I don't understand any word you've just said.
You demanded he take pictures of everything on a Hobby Hangout. He took pictures of everything, and you fucking ignored him for 6 months. Like, I can't show some contrition.
I need to look that word up.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, that word anyway. I know. That's a nice word. Look, there's the Santa Claus.
Yes,
the red again.
The red goblin one. Good old McCarry. Luckiest bastard in the world. Stable him to your head. That's a nice rune ship. Is that the Reaper one? It looks like the Reaper one.
We would need to go to his other project to see if he had...
Hey, you know, you say that, but I could just stare at it long enough to see whether or not I can glean the information from it. I'm fairly certain it's the Reaper Bones ruined piratey ship.
It looks a bit like a ruined ship, for sure.
Look, he's even got, what you call those things? buggies from the Speed Freaks game,
Yeah.
a game that existed for about 5 minutes, maybe 6.
Give it 6.5 because Toffee has painted all of it.
I imagine we've still got it sitting on the shelf in the studio, doing fuck all.
Yes, Crispin.
Terrible shame.
All the Norks.
Orcs and or Knockers.
Also those.
Dolomite Is My Name is a great film, by the way. Crispin. I'm shocked I hadn't watched it until now. It really showed up exactly how quality Rudy Ray Moore is. And also, they don't go into it, but the fact that he was always, pulling people out of trouble and trying to build up everybody in his area and all the rest was more or less why he ended up fucking living in poverty. Did I ever send the links into House of Water #BestHouse? There's like one of these American picker type people who bought like a storage locker, and when he started going through it, it turned out to be Rudy Ray Moore's storage locker. And it just contained all sorts of shit, like hundreds of copies of his DVDs and CDs and T-shirts and shit from his house, like broken fucking toasters and all sorts. And he revisited it because somebody might think that's Rudy Ray Moore's, and he looked into it and found like bills and stuff, and there'd been an ongoing dispute because whoever was in charge of his finances had more or less rubbered him, took it all, and then his family, and so he ended up living in poverty while people had just ripped him off to fuck.
Oh, that's.
I will dig out. They're both on YouTube. I'll dig the links out. It's interesting and heartbreaking in both ways. Because when we were watching Dolomite Is My Name, he's going up to like Lady B and going, you should be on stage, and you need to be my protege and all the rest. And in any other film, that would be the cheesy come on line. But now it's just Rudy being Rudy and going, no, you can make something. Your husband's a scumbag. You can make some money, look after yourself and your kid. Generally nice person. And it looks like that was more or less exactly how he was. I've seen them all. Not only that, after I watched Dolomite Is My Name, and it did that bit where when they were filming, they got like students from UCLA Film School or something like that. I went and looked them up on IMDb to see if any of them did anything after Dolomite. And some of them stuck around in the industry for years. One of the sound engineers worked on Star Wars. So they went from Dolomite as an unpaid or very little paid fucking student type to Star Wars. Another one had been in the industry for years and did several Eddie Murphy films, which was really weird. It was great because I ended up just going through IMDb and opening up all these links going, what did you do? You did like every Rudy Ray Moore film, and then like Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy like 20 years later. And then 5 years after that, Eddie Murphy's playing Dolomite. How fucked up is that? Anyway.
Oh, have you seen? I don't know why that sprang to my mind at the beginning of the conversation. The article about that one man-on-man actor that messed up 35 Nazis.
Hot man-on-man acting. What?
Yeah.
Is he the tiny little American one, Artie Murphy? He got up on top of a flaming Sherman tank, jumped onto the pintle-mounted 30 cal and started attacking people while the tank was knocked out and on fire.
Oh,
he won a couple of medals for that. It was quite good.
It was a recent news article about Brandon. He knocked out 35 Nazis and then got sued for that.
No, I must have missed that one.
But imagine your Grand Dragon Inquisitor KKK people going, and how many people did he fight? 35, and they all got their asses handed to them.
Wow. That's kind of cool. I didn't know Eddie Murphy had paid for Fox's funeral. Anyway.
Venture on.
Yes. This one is specifically for you. It's all in foreign.
Yeah, it's a very weird language.
No, can't say much about it.
So we're passing...
What's it mean? Translate for the children.
Suppenschüssel.
Must mean something.
Yes, it's a soup bowl.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And I I'm guessing that he's referencing a children's TV show from way back when Michiel from Lönneberger is getting his head stuck in a soup bowl,
Could be.
and his parents need to take him to the doctor to get his head removed.
Oh, no, never heard of that. Roy P. Blah blah blah.
It's
No.
from what's her name again?
I need to stop things scrolling
The
here.
the same author that did Pippi Longstocking, I think.
Oh, right, her. That, well, that says a lot.
It
No.
was a pretty interesting thing. I don't know why he chose that as a what you would call it, as a headline. But I guess he will have his reasons, potentially just to get you to look at the project again. And just
6 hours in hell. A
look at it.
12-man Special Forces patrol, which included 9 Montagnard tribesmen surrounded by an NVA infantry battalion of 1,000 men.
What are you looking at?
Crispin just told me to have a look at this guy who used to visit him in school. Benavidez heard the radio appeal for help, boarded a helicopter to respond. Armed only with a knife, he jumped from the helicopter carrying his medical bag and ran to the trap patrol. He distinguished himself by a series of daring and extremely valorous actions, and because of his gallant choice to join voluntarily, and to expose himself constantly to withering enemy fire, and his refusal to be stopped despite numerous severe wounds, saved the lives of at least 8 men. At one point in the battle, so this was 13 guys take on a fucking 1,000-man battalion, Firefox. At one point, an NVA soldier accosted him and stabbed him with his bayonet. He pulled it out, drew his own knife, killed him, and kept on going, leaving his knife in the dead NVA soldier's body. He later killed 2 more with an AK while providing covering fire for the people boarding a helicopter. And after the battle, he was evacuated to base camp and examined, thought to be dead, placed in a body bag, and was suddenly recognized by a friend who called for help. A doctor examined him, believed he was dead anyway, and was about to zip the body bag up, but Benavidez managed to spit in his face, alerting the doctor he was alive. Total of 37 separate bullet, bayonet, and shrapnel wounds from the 6-hour fight with the battalion. He received a Distinguished Service Cross for his extraordinary heroism and 4 Purple Hearts. He should have also had somebody hum on his balls for that. Holy shit balls.
Talking about somebody too stubborn to die.
Firefox.
So, does this here down in the corner fall under the premise of Mold Line, or what is that?
That's an interesting question. I believe he's kicking around here, so he'll probably be able to explain that.
I'm guessing it's some kind of fixture to help him control the bloody thing.
I can't imagine it's a fixture. I think, like Crispin says, something plugs into that because it has a very much like a rotating section goes in there.
I can't remember if the shuttle had anything on the wings actually at that point.
That's true.
Oh, there we can see it.
42 does fuck around a lot. It's very slapdash.
See, there it is. It
Very
just dropped
slapdash.
off for the picture. Maybe he didn't notice. And mind you, people who
Maybe
haven't
took it
seen
off
this
because it
project
was
before, this is a
slightly different.
scratch build. This is not a model. This is
It's not entirely scratch built. The mechanical contrivances inside do come
yeah,
from
the
Lego
Lego
Technica.
Techniques part are not scratch built. I'll give you that.
So at that point, what even is the point? Huh?
Bloody hell.
I imagine, because it's missing on the other side as well, I don't think they've fallen off. I think it has all the hallmarks of somebody who's realised that there's a slight deficiency or difference between the part that has been put on and how it should actually look on the actual model. It has all the, shit, this should actually be 0.2 mil deeper and with a slightly more concave surface. So they need to be prized off and replaced.
Let's see. Can I?
Let's call him a cunt, because he seems to have left. So call him a cunt for me. Jerry says you're a cunt.
Oh, I would need you to have that. Oh, actually, there seems to be a double-barreled gun on that part of the wings, judging by other pictures from the
Dad
interwebs.
tried to re-enlist for Vietnam. Oh, shame.
Never really noticed those little
Don't
guns.
always get what you want, Crispin. Huh?
You don't always get what you want.
As the philosopher Mick Jagger said. I mean, the Lambda class is all well and good, but the
Speedo?
the X-34 speeder, seeing it finally finished, I think is really, really nice. I suppose it's the splash of colour.
And the hood ornament that's not in the model kit.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be doing something in a George Lucas universe, then having some sort of massive air scoop intake makes perfect sense. He is, after all, a hot rod fan.
Yeah,
that is responsible for Naboo.
The weird wiring loom, that's more or less from the original model, but the actual scoop, that's something he done himself. That's not stock. Is that even road legal? Can I see your last MOT, please?
I think after that we've seen it, it's all Darth Jar Jar and stuff like that. But yeah, they just look really nice. You know what would really set them both off? A crashed X-Wing. One of the new ones. No?
No. So next, please.
There's no pleasing you, is there?
Oh, there is.
So this next one, I'm just showing as an example of Northern Ireland counting.
So this is...
This is something called Tauros for Clash of Spears. So many months ago, two Argentinians decided they couldn't get the Falklands back, so they would release a game called Clash of Spears instead. And Tauros asked me to pick a copy of the rules up for him because it looked interesting, so I did. Actually, he started off by going, "You're going to America, go and interview the people." So I did that. So he's responsible for my love of Clash of Spears, because before he told me to go and find out about it, I hadn't heard about it. Anyway, he started working 28mm, a scale which he is not a fan of, and in plastic, a material which he hates. And after only a mere
2 years?
year and a half, he's finally come to the conclusion that, no, I'm not doing this anymore. You can't make me. So One Piece metals, here we come. Now, for people playing along at home, it goes like this. Explanation of what's happening. Day 4, day 8, day 2, day 0, current day. So it's very much a bell curve of counting as far as days go.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have thought that these were 15 mils, to be honest.
Yep. 2 of them on a 20mm base. Again, always base smaller. And then it looks like there's so many more people there. It's great. It's cracking. Get in.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
really...
never been a Magic Open Day, Crispin. I'd really like to go, mind you.
I'm really, really glad that there's no local game store carrying such things in my near vicinity.
Just tell them to. Throw peanuts at their head until they do it.
Yeah, that's what I fear. They would actually try to sell me stuff, and I can't have that.
That's the whole point. It's the whole fucking point of it.
Is it?
Well, I think so. I mean, what else is the point? I can't think of a point. But no,
I thought
I'm
the
with
point
you.
is to complain about other people being talented fox.
Well, yeah, that too. But no, Steve, I'm with you. I think the same as I did for Saga for the Crusades. I don't mind 28mm for Dark Ages, because I can see 30 to 50 men on 1 or 2 boats coming in, doing a raid and fucking off. But for the Crusades, it looks too small. So having them at 15 mil and having, units of 24 or higher looks like a more comprehensive army. And I think for Clash of Spears, it works very well as well.
So,
Toys and sex.
I had a weird noise in my line.
Oh, that was me burping.
Okay. So what's next?
Did it sound like me burping? No. Just checking.
We need more terrible people in the show. Please add the next entry.
Hutch. See no Hutch.
Which Quaz War? What the hell is Quaz War?
Well, once again, I'm going to claim this as, being thanks to me. No need to thank me.
That one.
Looked at a Zombie Smith miniatures a while ago, which are like aardvarky anti-dairy type things playing out their alternative World War One.
I thought those were looking like Emu Wars or something from the Australians.
Yeah, could be like that, except in this case, it's a crazy man with the quars, some sort of Skeksis style things. Big nose, big bellies, off you go. Like Jim Henson has sent them out to fight.
Are those noses not beakers?
Could go either way. I choose not to test. I am looking forward to seeing the carrier squirrels, which this army will have.
These ones?
3 of. There you go. Look at them. Look at them. Fucking get in.
Now you're sounding like Gollum.
Anyway. I really like the fact that I would say somebody is getting into it. There's a lot of people play it because I know it's very popular from the internet, which is how I discovered it in the first place. But it's not often that you see the more esoteric side of some of the weirder, smaller games come creeping out.
I've just noticed these miniatures when he updated his project. Was it yesterday or something?
Yes.
And I looked at these and thought to myself, what the fuck was the sculptor inhaling while doing these?
Zombie Smith is amazeballs.
Does that keep him from ingesting drugs?
Oh. Yeah, Shadow miniatures are gorgeous. I do have a sneaking suspicion, though, that I can't remember whether or not it was Hutch said that they had been commission painted by somebody.
Look at the poor sod with all his candles and so much wind that the candles are going out again.
Because there was somebody's Bushido stuff I was looking at.
In the wind.
Right, sure, go nuts. You do you.
And yes, there was only coffee in my mug.
I've got to keep you away from that strange Hitler drink. You're
I
weird
was
enough as it is.
actually trying to stay away from that for today, just to not be annoying.
Get so hyper.
Oh look, a dragon!
Hyper.
Here be dragons.
Bye.
Good night, Dutch.
That's why you need the Lloyd shot, you see, Nick, so you can see their squirrely taily goodness.
And the big thing of building stuff.
Yes. Doing
Also, pictures taken outside. Print lights! See them? Going from left to right. All those print lights. I hate them. Me hates them. All right.
People should just knuckle down and scratch build them out from card. Just saying. They'd be happier. Well, Tim would be happier.
The world would be a better place. Just look Look at how the print lines ruin this perfectly fine front. Horrible things. I'm feeling
He's got a
better.
palm tree.
Chidits?
Exactly.
Drink? Yeah, there's all in all, nicely done stuff, Mr. Hutch. Please, can we have some more? The weirder, the merrier. Well, Zeuben, what sound would we have for a print line? I mean, we've got our mold lines.
Spectrum loading.
Not angry enough.
You think so? I seem to remember leaving the room when the Spectrum was loading because it was so fucking grating. It's like
Maybe
just
maybe a
repeatedly.
defective hard disk when they go. I'll have a
Defective
wee
hard
think
disk.
about that.
It's a hard disk. What?
Maybe. But I choose to ignore those lines. I'm completely, what's it called?
Do you?
Zen.
Really?
There's no mold line.
Because it doesn't look like you have.
Oh, I'm completely
Looks
relaxed.
like you freaked the fuck out.
Oh no, fine. So what's
Sure.
the last project for today, please? James. Doing stuff.
Yeah.
Also breaking.
Specifically, if you scroll down 3 posts, you'll see why I've picked this one.
Square bases?
No.
Oh no. He's giving up.
Giving up.
Oh no.
Which is interesting. For a couple of reasons. Reason the first. Sometimes you just got to know when to, hold them, know when to fold them.
Cut your losses.
Yep, that's the one. So, I believe he says that stash exceeds life expectancy. He doesn't say it, but it's the old Sally.
See, in the background, he made the calculations.
Yeah, reach the point where you go, well, if I'm only painting X number of models a week for these games and I'm not playing other games, then why do I keep buying stuff for them, and why have I got these sitting here? And would it not be better off just clearing them the fuck out? And you can't argue with it. I mean, he did even say, he's probably not going to pick up the big red book from Mantic for Kings of War. I think he should, because it contains the Siege rules plus Legendary plus. It's not just buying it for the sake of buying it, and it's the same rules again. There are new things in it, and if you're going to pick up a finishing point, having the definitive version of the 3rd edition rules with all the extra bits in it means that you can just stop at that. It's the same as Warhammer for me. I'd already decided we were going to stop at 8th edition with my friends before GW decided that they were going to stop at 8th edition, which is why I have all of the books, because it was like, well, why do we buy a new version of this every 3 or 4 years? There's no point. It's just pissing money up the wall, and they don't get any better. In some cases, they get worse. Let's just finish with this edition. And so I bought every book they released, so I had every army list available. And then it happened that GW went, you know what, we're going to fuck your world anyway. I was like, oh, well, that's good. Glad I decided to get out now. But likewise, if you're going to go, well, I'm just going to concentrate on these games and just draw a line in the sand and go, as nice as these things are, I'm never going to put paint on them. I'm never going to put them on a table. All they're doing is taking up space and distracting me from what I should be doing. So I don't have any issues with them doing it at all.
So what I can see is Star Saga, Pike and Shot, and a gigantic amount of terrain
I don't even know if that's all of it. Half of the collection is going. Haven't played it or don't seem likely to play it. It's going. And then look at new purchases. And if asked me to undo or abandon what I've previously done, then I can fuck right off. If it adds to what I've got, I will consider it only if it adds to what I'm doing right now. But if it's just adding to the pile, it can fuck right off. And the overarching rule is I must genuinely adore it or it will not get done. So he's learned what he enjoys playing: large fantasy battle games, small dungeon board game, narrative-driven skirmish, sci-fi, Lord of the Rings. Happily continue with these. And so second edition 40k, don't need anything because already got the minis for it. Dungeon Saga is an amazing sandbox. Lord of the Rings because he adores it and the miniatures. And anything else is a distraction or at worst an overhaul. I do still disagree with you about not getting the big red book, but you know, I just do.
Yeah, but you need a hook to lure him back in. So maybe at one point he bites the bullet.
I would say just buy the big red, sell your shit, buy the big red. He's already got Kings of War, and it's just do I need this new version of the rules? But the new version of the rules is not just the new version of the rules. It also includes the mini game, the legendary massive games, the points statting for your own monsters, so you can make your own weird shit up from what you have kicking around the house. Plus, it has all the
getting more
heavy
use out of your miniatures.
More or less, it compiles everything that's available and adds everything else. And I think Ronnie said that there's not going to be another Clash of Kings. This will run out for the next couple of years, and then they'll do a 4th edition. So that would be the natural cut off for me. If I was going to stop Kings of War, I would go, right, fuck it, I'll do it with the big red because it has everything in it.
Oh,
but you know, don't
Nick
have to.
is setting up a paint station at GaleCon in Dublin this weekend.
Wow.
So this would be the 29th and 30th, I guess, if it's Sunday and Sunday. Saturday,
is
Sunday.
It back in Kilmainham jail? I give up on. I went to GaleCon. They had it in Croke Park one year, Nick. If you remember that, it was a fucking nightmare. It's like I have no idea who thought Kroger would be a good idea for it. It must have cost a fucking fortune, and it just felt terrible.
Crowley Plaza,
Blanchardstown. Right. Okay. Well, I have cousins in Blanche.
Yeah, so people this weekend in Dublin go and pay Nick a visit. He has minis you can paint. Friday through Monday. That's a long weekend.
That's, GaleCon for you.
Yeah, and coming Thursday, you can watch me ruining other people's streams.
That's true. Yeah, we can all see what you're up to there.
I could potentially behave.
Wow. I bet you won't spend all your time talking about Hitler like you do on this stream.
I knew you would say that.
You did.
Oh, yes, I did. And I had to promise...
Do you have a sealed envelope with like the time and date on it that you're now going to open up?
I should have prepared
for
something.
fuck's sake, Celtic. Fucking keep them the fuck out, you pricks.
I had to promise
cut down on the Hitlerisms.
My thinking gob is totally kaput.
You had to promise to wear clothes?
Was gobbed to not mention the war.
Not mention the war. Oh, that works too. Yeah, I can see why you do
and
that.
Also not to talk about Hitler.
Yep, none of that.
I didn't promise not to drink my brown lemonade.
Oh my god.
Tactical error.
Fucking rookie mistake there.
That's a mistake he will make only once. I'm guessing he will catch up with the stream tomorrow, so he might be calling me, telling me off. But we will see.
Calling you a cat.
So on YouTube, Yellow Belly Tabletop, look for it. Jerry has mentioned it in the past. They are around in the project system somewhere, I think.
Or bust, yes.
On the Discord.
He's in the Discord as well. Sometime he used to post it in the Discord whenever he was going to go live that day, and nobody went. So I post it whenever he is actually live, on the off chance that somebody appears. Crispin's always there. It's always good quality fun. Crispin's around.
Crispin always mentions things.
I don't know what he means, Crispin. I've always seen you as the soul of discretion when you're in the chats. He's probably on the brown lemonade again. That's why he's thinking crazy thoughts.
I don't know if you're aware of the German proverb about beams bending when you're lying.
Who, what, where?
Yes, so you've got your structural beams in the ceiling.
Mm.
And there's a German saying, der lügt, da biegen sich die Balken. So you're lying, your lies weigh that much that your beams are starting to bend downwards.
Oh, okay.
At
fair enough.
points, I might be afraid of your ceiling coming down on you.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Just, we'll double check.
Yes, Nick Crispin is the best of us because he's the only one speaking the truth 100% of the time.
Pity wheat straw.
Oh, I had somebody to lure in on that movie.
All right, okay.
So we might have a topic on Thursday regarding movies.
Oh, has he not seen it yet?
No, he
Has
didn't.
Not seen that?
He didn't
It's
know
madness.
what I was talking, and I told him just look it up. Yes, Rumbly 8, something along those lines.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense either.
No, who said proverbs?
We have a saying
choice?
here in Northern Ireland: your dad sells Avon. I mean, it doesn't mean anything like what you're saying, but I just thought it's true.
He sells what?
Avon.
I don't even know what that is.
Your dad sells Avon. Avon is how can I put this? It was like one of these make money at home in your own time type of things without it actually being a pyramid scheme. Avon was makeup, so people would go from door to door selling Avon cosmetics. Avon calling.
We actually had those here as well. When they knocked on your door and go, die Avon-Beratung.
Yep. My man knows your dad. Your dad is my man.
That's enough for today. People are getting weird.
That makes sense.
I feel like I need...
Just take a moment to appreciate the fact that City are still being held, although they have got a penalty. So, I imagine...
you're talking about footy again.
Yeah. Oh, no. Mara's saved. Go on, Dortmund. Keep them the fuck out. Cheer me up. I need cheered up. Something massive.
Buy more minis. See you a lot next week. Have
Bye,
a good night.
you guys.
Bye.